Hello everyone, my name's Jack Bandy, and today I'll be presenting a paper that I wrote with Brent Hecht about errors in geotargeted display advertising. The whole reason for doing this project is that local journalism is in crisis, and a big factor in that crisis is that they're experiencing reduced advertising revenue. And a big reason for this, as you can see in the chart on the right here, is that advertisers have switched to Google and other online ad platforms for most of their local advertising needs. So if a new pizza shop opens up in town and they want to let their local residents know, they're no longer going to the local newspaper. Instead, they're going to Google and Facebook and other platforms to try and reach people in the area. But a big question is whether Google and other platforms actually offer a viable substitute for the kind of local geotargeted advertising that newspapers used to provide. So in this work, we ask two main research questions. First, how common are geotargeting errors on Google's display ads? And second, how severe are those errors? I'll briefly go over some related work and methods here, but I want to emphasize that there are a lot more details in the paper, so please check that out if you're interested. There is some prior evidence of geotargeting errors in Google systems. This includes surveys by Search Engine Land, as well as a 2012 study for medical recruitment. And all this evidence suggests that about half of the time, Google's systems are prone to errors. This might be for any number of reasons, but there are a few important ones to note. First, IP address positioning is prone to errors. People also move around a lot for travel, for work, etc. Some users intentionally obfuscate their location using VPNs or other methods. There are also new policies like GDPR and CCPA that restrict user location information. And there are new software options like the one shown on the right in iOS that discourage users from sharing their location. In terms of methods, we essentially used a four-step process. First, we bought Google ads targeted to a specific US zip code. Then Google would show those ads that linked to a survey we designed. In the survey, participants would answer various questions about their zip code, including whether they lived in the target zip code. Finally, we would compare the user-provided zip code with the targeted zip code if they reported living in a different location. And we repeated this process for hundreds of random zip codes across the United States. Here are the main results we found. In total, 41% of participants reported they lived outside the zip code that we targeted in Google Ads. 35% of participants reported that they did not live in nor visit that target zip code. This is lower than the 50% or so that was reported in related studies, but it is still substantial. While errors were fairly common, we found that most were not very severe. In fact, most errors were just one or two zip codes away from the target zip code, as we show in this chart. On a similar note, if you look at less local geographic scales, the non-resident rate drops substantially. While 41% of participants did not live in the target zip code, only 2% of participants did not live in the target state. The main goal of our audit was to evaluate geotargeting accuracy, but we also came across some unexpected data related to click-through rates that I want to briefly mention. Even after we adjusted campaigns and followed Google's recommendations, only 7% of clicks on our ads led to survey participation of any kind. While we wouldn't expect this to be 100%, we did expect it to be much higher. For example, a similar CHI 2018 study reported 35% participation rate for a similar survey deployed on Twitter. Once again, there are more details in the paper, but for now I'll wrap it up with a few concluding notes. In summary, our study found that geotargeting errors on Google are fairly common, with 41% of participants reporting they did not live in the targeted zip code. However, most errors were not severe, especially in terms of advertising purposes. Our study is somewhat limited by sample size and also the fact that we only collected data in the US. We also found an unexpectedly low conversion rate, which does call for future work. We also think that future work could explore other platforms like Facebook to see how well their geotargeting systems work. Thanks for watching, and if you want to learn more about this work, you can find these slides and more at jackbandy.com/publications.